Hello, everybody. This is part 2 of the texturing tutorials for the unannounced game that we are working on. In this video, we'll be talking about this rock here. But yeah, again, my apologies if I'm coughing quite a bit. I am still quite sick, so. Yeah, so here I have the rock that I kind of quickly made, um, for the tutorial purposes here. I made it in ZBrush, as you can see. This is the high poly. The thing about the high poly is what you can do with the high poly, you can either like decimate it if it's too high, using the default decimation settings. But since it's not over 1 million, it baked just fine. For stuff that's like rocks in our game, they are not gonna be like too insanely like high poly in terms of low poly, but we will be using nanite for stuff like the rocks here, so it's gonna definitely bring that budget down. But yeah, so like I said in the first video, using this helmet here, you want to separate between low and high, export just like so, and then using the baking settings that I showed in the first video, you'll then get this result, as you can see here. And yeah, time to begin the little texturing breakdown, if you will. So, whoops, spell roughness wrong. One sec. Okay, let's just turn everything off and talk about what we're going to do here. So the thing about our game, think of it like this. Anything that's like rock or stony, if you will, kind of this certain stylized look to it, you know? And with that stylized look, it's kind of just flat colors, like flat base colors, as you can see here. And if it's like anything organic, it'll have like variations of roughness, right? And if it's anything that's like stone, right? Well, not stone, but anything that's like metallic, I have a little bit of variation in roughness in it as well, as you can see with the helmet from the first video. Anyways, so let's talk about this. So what I did, I gave it a basic roughness base right here. I increased roughness all the way, and then I go straight into making the rock texture. So what I did, I slapped on a simple fill with only the color being the only one that matters, as you can see here. I added a bit of a darker brown, and then I went in and added a little variation right here, adding a darker kind of color, as you can see here, with the ambient occlusion, the levels, using what we were talking about in the first video. And then I added a sort of a grayish brown base material, or not base material, but base color as well. Don't really need these as well. Wait. I also gave a little height in this one. Ooh, exciting. And pretty much did the same thing I did here with the levels and ambient occlusion. Just play around with it like so. And then I gave it a bit of blur. This also gave it some height. And then I kind of just gave it a little bit of edge wear, as you can see here, using a curvature. You can also add edgeware using thickness, but in this case I use curvature. And then a little roughness variation, as you can see here. Not much though, but just enough to where there's breakup. And I did that by adding in a curvature. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the stone. Like most stone materials I'll be using in our game. The roughness variation, there's not going to be much of any at all. Kind of stylized flat colors, as you can see here. Get a little bit of height information, and yeah, that's kind of how we're going to achieve this look here, as you can see. And yeah, and pretty much the same as before with how you're going to export these textures. Using default settings here. Since there's no, well, there is high information, but that high information is the normals, the normal map, and the height and emissive. That doesn't really matter, but yeah. And when we're exporting, we'll be exporting using lower resolution quality for the texture maps, since they'll be game ready. And yeah, that is basically it. Thank you for watching, and yeah, next video we'll be going over how we'll be texturing our creatures in our game. Alright, bye bye!